guys. We're not doing a cold open tonight. I haven't got the inclination to do one.
Have you got the heating on? Is that why?
Possibly, actually. No, I haven't.
He does look like he's sweating, actually.
The whole time we're doing what we're doing. We're lurking into a cold open, boys. Stop it now. We're not doing a cold open.
It's a false habit.
Tonight, it is episode 208, and it's a final reference to a French car, actually. The Peugeot 208, which Ian despises, and me and Milo don't really like it either, but we just want to carry on the Peugeot trend for the last 4 episodes, hasn't it been, mate? But no, we have got a surprise, boys. Maybe not a surprise to you two, but a surprise for our listeners, because we've got someone joining us from the land down under tonight. Yes, known for his ability to make Pokemon shine for others with a tap of their screen. It's certainly happened in Madrid for me. And catching new releases with minimum effort. He has starred as the baddie, I can't remember the character's name, in the NordVPN adverts, alongside his partner in crime, Zoe. Tonight, we're joined by the one and only Alan. Alan, welcome to the Incensed podcast.
Thank you very much. And did you say that you're running heaters? What is what temperature have you got over there at the moment?
You're a Celsius person, aren't you, Alan? You don't deal with all that Fahrenheit stuff.
They're sensible.
No freedom units here.
A healthy 6 degrees Celsius, Alan, but it's probably about 18 in the shed. So we're getting there, mate. We're getting there.
We're up to 40. We're up to like 40, 43 or 44 Celsius.
That's right, because it's the middle of your summer, isn't it?
But then hail and like lightning storm in the evening. So in the same day, it was crazy.
Nice.
I remember when I flew into Adelaide in December, and like literally there were like lightning strikes in the heat. And like people like trying to put fires out. It felt like every 30 minutes. It was like, there's been another one.
Yeah.
Trucks flying
just
around.
need the right bolt to hit, and you could light the barbecue. Great.
Yeah.
You went there, Milo. He went there, Alan.
Someone had to.
We did go there, and Sue said in the chat, in New Jersey it's 3 degrees, so it's colder in sort of in the States. Well, certainly in Sue's part of the States, and it is in the UK, because up here in the Midlands, 6 degrees.
So, Alan, you've won we didn't really plan to have a flex game tonight, but you've won it. So well done.
Right.
The warmest temperature.
We're never going to win against 40 degrees.
What is the hottest temperature for you now we're recording a podcast? What a game.
Yeah. Who can be the most uncomfortable?
But you've got your aircon on, haven't you, Alan? Let's face it. There's going to be an aircon unit going with you.
Well, we do have ducted. It's not on yet, but it's 7:14 a.m. here at the moment, and it's 21 degrees, 25 degrees in the house.
Oh, it's nice and comfortable in the house, and 25 degrees, a bit warm.
Retaining the heat from yesterday.
Yeah. That's the problem with the British houses. We retain heat here, so in the summer they get unbearable, whereas...
You had that heat wave, and kind of your houses aren't really built for temperatures like that.
We always have to, whenever we're talking from somebody who deals with actual heat, we have an Australian...
We get 3 days a year of warm temperature.
Because it was the 3-day heat wave, wasn't it, Ian? It was the 3-day heat wave.
But we have a member of our local community, Shan, who's Australian. She was always like, heat wave? What are you talking about? It's a heat wave in... brackets.
It's a mild summer.
Yeah.
No, but it is different because the houses in Europe and England just aren't really designed and insulated for that kind of...
designed to keep that heat in. Whereas over there and a lot of parts of America, they're designed to keep the place cool, which is obviously better in the summer.
Yes.
Well, before we start chatting too much about bricklaying and God knows what... Folks, quickly, before we dive into a very exciting and different style of show with Alan.
Oi, you sleepy sailors, it's time to drop your incense.
Is this your first time hearing these sound effects, Alan, actually?
We have a few.
I feel like I have heard that before, but I'd forgotten about it.
It's technically Zoe's our most reoccurring feature.
Every week, at least once. Twice, actually, sometimes.
Twice, usually, at least on a show. But of course...
Before you jump there, we've got to be careful what we do, Milo. Alan's probably going to invoice us for each soundbite we use.
Oh, true. Let's not play too many of them. I can't. Luckily, the next one won't be that. So, of course, an episode of Incensed Podcast, we encourage you to drop your incense, be it whatever version of the item you wish. And if you catch something while listening to this episode 208, you can let us know on our socials. That would be X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. At Incensed Podcast would suit very nicely. We, of course, have Campfire. There's Discord for Patreon members. There is the WhatsApp number, which is in the footnote of the show, because I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. But there is, of course, the email contact@incensedpodcast.com, and send us a text as well via any podcast platform that has it available, I guess. But every post will require to have hashtag Shinies of the Week.
Could you please clarify that spelling for me, please?
And that would be SHINIESOFTHEWEEK. Drop that on your post. Let us know how you do. But now we can hand it back to you guys. That's the Pokemon Go kind of general bits done. Let's dive straight into what should be a very exciting show.
Yeah, well, we're going to go back to tradition tonight, because one of the first things that we normally do in the show is the good old-fashioned getting to know you question. I think tonight we're going to get to learn a lot more about each other, but it would not be incensed. It wouldn't be the Incensed Boys if we didn't put a poll out for this show. So
I've just realised we're going to have to play Zoe again.
We are.
Are we?
Just tell me about you, mate. Just what's going on?
We need credit in the bank now,
This is
guys.
obviously surreal for Alan.
So Alan, we do a getting to know you section. This one, we've done it a couple of times before, but I think it's been almost a year since we did this one again, so it feels quite nice. The world is a crazy place. I'll explain the concept, unless you know it already, Alan, but I'll explain it to our listeners. Room 101, it's a show where you are able to nominate something to put into Room 101, which is basically a trapdoor, and you get rid of it. It will not have to be worried again. It will not bother you, at least for a year's time. But the quiz show Room 101 allowed people to pitch ideas, give reasons for it, and then it was put to the public vote. We're going to refresh our thoughts on this and see what the last year has brought to our minds. So we're going to start with Ian. Me and you, Alan, we've got a little bit more time to think about this one, because even though I wrote the notes for tonight's show, I've not thought about this in any way whatsoever.
Well done, Marky.
Thank you. So Ian, Room 101, what's going on this time around, bud?
Yeah, this one for me this year, it's a very easy one to answer.
Chest infections.
And that's because in just about 3 weeks' time, we'll be in LA for the tour. Anyone that hasn't had their sort of head stuck in the ground will know that in LA they've been dealing with a horrendous batch of wildfires, which has devastated Los Angeles County. So it's a simple one for me. I will put into Room 101 the Southern California, specifically LA wildfires.
Well, I think Ian's won this one already. But, wow. That's a very
we know Milo's going to put something to do with London and bicycles in Room 101.
No, there's no bicycles featured this time.
Let's see. Go on, Milo.
Are you sure? I'll try and be as quick as possible. So, I think the previous couple of times I put cyclists or something that cyclists do.
You have, yes.
But this time round, I'm going to put something that seems to be more of a problem. It's driving standards seem to be diminishing across the UK. More and more idiots are let behind the wheel. So I saw it on a Instagram reel and somebody dubbed it vehicle dysmorphia. And you look at it's like somebody just doesn't know how big their vehicle is and cannot drive it. And you're like, their phrase was, "You're not a bus, you're not a train, you're in a little Fiat. Just drive, for God's sake."
Was that referring to you or your girlfriend?
There's no vehicle dysmorphia possible with either a Fiat 500 or a Miata. It's not possible. It's people who they think they're as wide as a tank. They're like, you are in the most microscopic vehicle. It's worse in London. Get through that space. And you think, people have lives to live. We want to get somewhere. We want to do something. I don't want to be sit here looking at your registration plate for any longer than is necessary. So we could just dub that on the poll as bad drivers.
Yeah, I was going to say, I ain't got enough characters to fit that one in mine. And a lot
Vehicle
of people,
dysmorphia.
Bad drivers.
Sure.
Okay. Alan.
Yeah, look, I was sitting there going, he's going to steal my thing. I feel like it's trivial now after Ian opening with the things that actually
Sorry.
matter. But yeah, I was going to say bad drivers in Australia, people that don't plan their trip. I get very passionate about this, and Zoe's just like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, it does. Like last minute, you're in like this far left lane and you want to come all the way over to the right turning thing. It's like, should have been in the right lane already.
I like that.
Get your stuff together. And she's like, doesn't matter. Hasn't impacted you at all. Just bothers me. So inconsiderate drivers, maybe.
Inconsiderate drivers, bad drivers, just with a different flag next to a marquee.
I can work with that. So,
what's Marky putting in it?
Right, I've changed my tune quite a bit about certain things over the last year. I found myself getting a little bit more untrustworthy of the media. I used to love putting news on and having an ounce of sort of comfort, or that it was probably okay, probably quite accurate, is probably the word I'd say. I've never felt more tentative when looking on social media now, and certainly the mainstream news, because it doesn't seem to be as trustworthy as it once used to be. And I'm talking about most media platforms now, which is quite scary. However, I'm not going to put all media into Room 101 because...
I think where you're posting the poll.
By nature of that, well, it's my impact. Well, what happens with the poll in the future? However, I do think certain people play a big part in it, and I do think that as I'm getting a little bit more older and a little bit more unwiser, I'm tending to sort of get more switched off by it. Damn it being a very easy platform to use, certainly for the poll. But I'm sorry, I'm putting X into Room 101.
Ooh.
X is going into Room 101.
That means no more polls. That works.
That's what I said, Ian. We're just going to hope that Blue Sky up their game and start allowing us to put polls on it.
Insta.
Because
It's all about the Insta polls.
All about the Insta. So I could have put them all in there, to be fair. That would have really scuppered us, and that probably would have been unappealing. But there's been too much stuff going. We're not a news podcast. We're not going to move on and put in any more context around it. But X is going into Room 101. Let's see what the people think.
Yeah, and in the chat, Marky, Sue, and to be fair, I do agree with this because it's technically a garnish, but Sue would put kale into Room 101. Totally agree.
Is that a vegan's best friend?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
People have tried to sell me on kale before. They've even put it in the oven and put salt on it and oil on it.
Like
kale chips, and I'm like, just eat chips. This is just bad chips.
You're messing with nature. What are you doing?
It doesn't matter how many times you repeat that phrase. They're awful. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
But let me do that, and I'm going to drift into the background and let the boys take over the conversation.
Yeah, so while Mock beavers away at his keyboard, trying to figure out how to put this poll on Instagram, let's face it, it'll probably end up on X. But let's have a little bit of a chat. It's going to be a very chilled out chat, so in no particular order, let's just talk about, we're at the end of January now, so we've got 11 months left of this year. Let's talk about our plans for this year, be that travel, family, work. What does 2025 look like for you guys?
Let's be gracious and let Alan kick off, our guest.
Yeah, look, I think I can't remember if we were recording or not when I said this earlier, but I think last year, obviously, it's great to meet you guys in Madrid, and that was kind of my temporary swan song. I did a lot of travel that year, so I think I did Japan, Singapore, Madrid, Honolulu.
You did a lot of good events, though. There was some... Madrid especially was amazing.
Yeah, but that was kind of I was working for a startup company at the time, and just helping them get set up, and had quite a lot of freedom to travel. But I kind of went, look, with cost of living and everything, I'm going to have to go back and do a 9-to-5 job. So I guess the boring side of 2025 is, I'm going back to working full time, and I probably won't have as much freedom to travel anymore. But yeah, obviously the exciting part of 2025 is that we got a little baby 2 dots on the way, coming in June.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exciting and terrifying at the same time. But yeah, so that's going to keep us pretty busy, I think.
Absolutely. That's a huge
massive,
change for you guys. And big congrats to you and Zoe when you announced that was a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, that's going to block out your whole summer and then beyond. You have to see what's going on.
Guessing, are you and Zoe traveling to the Unova tour or?
Like Zoe, maybe. We've chatted to the doctor and, they've kind of said, look, we'll just check, but generally speaking, you can travel while pregnant till quite late in the game, so to speak, as long as there's no kind of issues before that. Yeah. So I think it's just kind of play it by ear, but potentially may squeeze another trip in beforehand or something.
Get one in before
we'll
the
have
baby
to
arrives.
see.
Yeah, that's going to be a big year though for you. I mean, for you and Zoe, that is going to be a massive year.
Just about the biggest thing, really, that any of us could say.
So. Yeah, it's. I think I was halfway through a kitchen renovation when we found out late last year. So the kitchen's done now, but then it was kind of like, I've started a lot of jobs around this house that all have a very short timeline to complete.
So now you've got a deadline to have everything complete.
That's like any property development program. Any property one. They're always like doing the big projects or doing some renovations. Suddenly, they're pregnant halfway through the project.
Yeah.
It's British TV or Grand Designs or wherever it is. It always seems to be the common theme.
Yeah.
Come on then, Whitfield. What's your 2025 look like?
Well, we've already discussed a little bit on previous shows about what is in the pipeline. We know that LA is very much on the cards, as well as Milan. But the more that things go along, it's been a hectic last sort of week. That's a sort of new experience. Thankfully,
to be fair, trading cryptocurrency, I never thought you'd actually start doing that.
Well, I was going to say, that's why I'm able to travel a bit more now. But in all seriousness, it's really good to get everything back under control, channels A-OK and everything like that. But there's a bit more travel planned in. We're trying to look at, obviously, the Go Fests, see what's
New
going
York,
down with those.
Paris,
Yeah, Paris and New Jersey, which is great. But suddenly there's a planned week to go to Poland in April somewhere.
Oh, that's new.
Which,
All right, Milo.
it's new since last week. So that's sort of on the cards, which would be nice. It's like 2 weeks after we get back from Milan. That's more of a sort of family bits and pieces, but it would be nice to go back over there for the first time in, I think, 2 years. And I guess we've just got to see travel-wise where things go, be it the game or stuff that we want to do. It was a shame that Marky couldn't join Ash, but Ash came to Bristol for Conde Classic, and that was really nice, going back to hometown, walking around some old familiar stomping ground, catching some shiny rolls.
And not getting mugged.
And not getting mugged at all. It was fantastic. So that was really lovely. But otherwise, I guess you just got to see where the wind takes us. I'd love to be able to do some more meetups with you guys. And we've already talked about things we'd like to do in 2025. But things with certainty is a few more trips on the cards, really, and several stages behind on where Alan's at. He's done his travel last year. It's like, we're still in the travel phase over here. What about you, Vasa?
I'm in a similar boat to you, to be fair. So this year in itself, well, you guys know my work pattern is erratic at the moment, to say the least. So 2025 for me has started off interestingly. So work pattern is all over the place, hoping it settles down, but we'll see as the weeks and possibly even months progress. In terms of the podcast, I think it's safe to say that I will try and be here every week, even if it's inconvenient, because the podcast is pretty much it's kind of fixed point every week. So the podcast is certainly going to be a massive focus this year. And yeah, in terms of travel, I mean, copy paste what you said. We've got LA in just a matter of weeks. I mean, arguably because of days, really. It's less than a month away. We've got Milan, we've got Paris, we've got Jersey, and then we've got whatever the back end of the year brings. So this year, it's the first part of it certainly looks very stacked. Somewhere in the mix of all that, I do need to, and we said this last week, I do need to get a new MacBook Pro because my Mac is dying.
I would say it died a while ago. It's just you're sort of keeping on life support, really.
Yeah, the defibs app.
That's just a small purchase, and a nice MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I think we said I'm looking at a minimum of about 2K to get anything that's half decent. So
trade some crypto.
I do. Where do you think your channel went?
Milo doesn't know anyone.
I'll pass the details on to you, mate. I do feel very sorry for Vassar in a way, because he started 2025 being absolutely battered by, chest infection / cold, and you were absolutely rinsed for the first
2 weeks.
3 weeks, technically the last sort of 2 weeks of 2024 as well. And now you're all better, and now work is making you get up at 3 a.m.
Yes.
You're well rested, right?
Anybody that's listening should have just seen Alan's face at that comment.
That was a look of, I'm glad that's not me.
Yeah, I don't like getting up at 3 a.m. In fact, to put it into context, I got up last week, sent a message on our Discord group, and Sue's like, how are you even up yet? Because it wasn't even midnight in the States. I'm like, yeah, this is me now.
So why so early? Like, is that just when clients are online, or I don't even know what your 9 to 5 looks like. I have a vague recollection it might be
wider
IT
than
related.
9 to 5,
I would love 9
even
to
on a regular
5.
basis.
Ian's 9 to 5 looks like 3 to 7 at the moment.
And not the good 3 to 7.
No.
That's why we're starting a bit earlier on the podcast.
Yeah, that's why we're actually, to be fair, it would have been starting early anyway. But yeah, once we're done recording, I'm going to get about 4 hours sleep.
Oh.
I'm sure Milo will play a sad violin over this section.
Definitely. The stuff I haven't cut out.
Anyway, enough about me and my work. So come on, Marky, what does your 2025 look like, matey?
2025 is another year's here already. We're nearly a month done of it, which is absolutely mental. My 2025 sort of outside of Pokemon Go's looking quite exciting actually. We've booked some holidays already. We're going to have a European trip again, which would be nice.
Lovely.
A bit of a drive around Europe. I think we've got 10 days booked off, which is the longest holiday I've taken in about 5-6 years. I've not had more than a week off for the best part of 6 years. And before the pandemic, we used to annually go off on the road for 2 weeks around Europe. And one of the phrases that haunts me, but we find ourselves easily doing it, is sort of saying, do you remember when we used to do this before the pandemic? And we've never really moved on from that time. So I think this is going to be the year we're going to do that. We've certainly got the time booked off for that. So that's exciting. Last time we did it, we drove through France, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, around Lake Como.
Such a beautiful area.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this time we might do go a little bit more east, possibly. So Pokemon Go, similar to what you guys have said. You guys are going to hopefully have a blast in LA. Hopefully it's all sort of calmed itself down out there. And, and if they do...
I ain't getting on no airplane, and that's it.
That was a bit weird.
What was that?
Milo?
Huh?
That was very echoey. It sounded very distant.
Was
that
it?
did.
Oh, sorry, I moved my headphone.
That's all right. But anyway, like I said, hopefully LA happens. And certainly Europe, for me, is probably going to be the focus point this year. Looking forward to Milan and Paris, all being well. But I think for me, this year it is really just about doing a lot more work at home, doing a lot of project work at the moment. I want to finish off the garden. Did a lot of landscaping last year. I want to finish it off this year and make our home a really nice place, an even nicer place than what it is. And I think try and get a bit more of a balance. I say that every year, and I don't necessarily mean work and life as a balance. I just mean a balance and be more mindful of those around me who it impacts. Yeah, looking forward to 2025. Yeah, good news, everyone, by the way.
What?
I have posted a poll on Instagram.
Oh!
So I'm not putting it on X tonight. So anyone listening to the live stream, get on Instagram and vote for it. It's not going on X, but I will be putting a little reference put on X to direct people there.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so they're the plans, aren't they? Plans.
There's
some good plans. I'll be awaiting impatiently the M27 home channel to be rebooted.
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah, exactly. So, plans are one thing, but being a very subject-focused podcast, people do know a little bit about us as sort of hosts on it. But I think, as the years have gone on, we don't really talk about this in any detail too much. And if ever we've really shared it too much, I think it's what do we enjoy doing outside of Pokemon Go? Hopefully quite a lot. And what sort of hobbies sort of float our boats. Now, I know the guys, they sort of ridicule me, Alan. I am a very sporty person. I might not look like it with my physical demeanour at the moment, but I love my football. I'm a very passionate football fan. I've never shared this before with anyone, certainly on the video podcast. But this is a picture the last time, it's been a while since I took my old man up to watch us play Leeds United play. So Leeds United is my football team. Yeah, it's football in Alan in Australia. It's football, yeah?
Yeah, like if people call it soccer, people that like football get a little bit hostile. They're like, it's football. So yes, I know what you're talking about.
That's all right, that's all right. When I look at how I was brought up as a kid, that was something that connected me and my dad very closely. And I think, 40 years down the line from when I first went to watch Leeds play, not to my knowledge at the time, I may add, it's something that stuck by me. But I'm a very sporty person. I love rugby, love anything, basically. And it does give me a real buzz. And that's probably the one thing I like the most is just sport generally. I like the atmosphere at events. I like visiting new places to watch a sporting event, and all being well, I've said this to Ian, when we do go to Milan, I'm hoping I get to see a game at the San Siro when we're out there, when Inter Milan are playing. So the icing on the cake, that's one thing I've not done yet on our Pokemon Go adventures. It just hasn't aligned.
I remember you mentioning it to us. Hopefully timing works out for you.
Hopefully, but yeah, Ian and Milo will probably have the same answer, Alan. So do you want to break mine up before those two synchronise with each other?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I quite enjoy Pokemon Go, as we know, and I think it's a bit of comic relief a lot of the time, where I kind of feign a bit of disinterest, and it makes me getting the shinies funnier. But I do quite like sort of hanging out with the communities and everything. But yeah, that aside, I generally, as you know, like my music, and I like creating music, and I guess that's kind of my outlet. Over the last year, I probably haven't spent as much time with that as I should have. Ideally, I'll like to be, for this year coming in particular, before the little guy comes along, I'm sort of aiming to get another 3 songs out. And I guess in a similar vein to you, Mark, my dad and I guess what brought us together was music. So he's a musician, plays guitar and sing as well. So we're actually he and I are going to try and record a song together, because I kind of said, I just like a Beatles cover or something. He sort of sent me a song. I really like this. I think it was one of the new ones that kind of came out when they did that documentary recently. And I was kind of like, oh, yeah, it'd be good to start trying to, document a bit about the grandparents for the little guy. And then Zoe very quickly was like, oh, your dad won't go for that. Like, talking down the barrel of a camera like a hostage or something. And she said, why don't you do a song with him, and I'll just sort of record some B-roll and, capture some nice moments and stuff. Get some
behind the scenes.
Yeah. So that's sort of what we're rolling with there. So, yeah, I guess what I like to do in my spare time, and I guess equally what I'll be trying to do a bit more of when I can this year as well.
I think that's really good, actually, to get back into the music thing, because obviously people who know who you are will know that you are musically inclined. But for anybody who's not familiar, shall we say, like, when did the music thing sort of develop? Was it when you were a kid and because of your dad?
Sort of. I didn't really have a lot of interest when I was younger, and then I went to a primary school that had like a brass band, so I ended up being bullied into playing saxophone in a brass band.
Oh, nice saxophone, though.
My uncle was the bandmaster and a teacher at that school, and he just like,
so
on my first day just yelled,
play as well, the sax.
Yeah. First day in school, he just like yelled like, "Where's the boy of Kinder?" Because he's Lithuanian. He's a Lithuanian guy, and he's just big booming voice. Where is he? And I was like, and he's like, come on, like,
here you go,
sit there. And I was all right. But yeah, it probably wasn't till high school when something clicked that it's like, oh, girls like guys that can sing and play guitar. I'm interested in learning now.
That's the motivation.
Why we all learn.
It's like, got to play to your strengths. I had a bit of an ability, but yeah, definitely like something I used to do with my dad, and kind of got to the point where one of my best mates played in bands all through high school, and I didn't sort of tell anyone I could sing or do anything until probably second last year of high school, and it came about because we were out the back playing video games in the house, and Mum walked down with a cassette tape and said,
so a lot of our listeners won't know what they are, but
Yeah.
wow, cassette tapes.
Yeah, well,
And
it
the
was
pencil that goes with them.
Or hosts, Ian. Co-hosts might not know what they are.
I'm familiar with the good old
Do
cassette
you know what one
tape.
is, Milo?
Yes.
But,
Are you sure?
I'm from the era of the cassette tape and the VHS. You know?
Yeah. Well, so Dad had done a recording of him and I singing a song and sort of doing harmonies and stuff, and Mum just came and put it on for my friend. And he was like, I can't sing for crap, dude. Like, I've been limping. He's like, you could have been in this band the whole time. And he's like, what? Why? And I was like, I don't know. Just wasn't doing it really for anyone else. And
Okay.
and then away we went. So, yeah, I'd say I probably really got into it when I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah. That's the origin story there.
And what's your preference, electric or acoustic guitar?
Definitely acoustic. Like, even, like, I've got electrics and in bands.
You Fender or a Gibson, man?
Fender. I really liked Eric Clapton stuff growing up, and he was a Fender, but I had a Telecaster, not a Stratocaster like him. And then I ended up buying a Tokai, which is Japanese brand, but basically it's a Les Paul Gibson ripoff, to the point where Gibson was suing them in the 80s because they just made better guitars with better electrics, and they were just doing it better.
I love Gibson, but they did go downhill slightly, to be fair, when they sold out.
But yeah, I got one of the last Tokais that were made in Japan, so they closed the factory, but I got one of the last ones ever made, and it came over and it had a picture of the Japanese guy that was sort of making it, and you know, all the numbered collectors thing. And as soon as it landed, the shop was like, do you want it? Do you still want this? Like, and I'm like, yes. And they're like, can I buy it off you? Can I buy it back off you? No.
Come on, you two.
Well, I guess continuing down the sort of route, I don't know, a passion of mine has always been motoring and cars and that sort of way. And like, where do you go with a hobby of that? When I was younger, I used to do a lot more sort of driving, went to a car club and was part of a sort of motoring community. And that's how I grew up. You know, me and my dad spent almost every Sunday for best part of 8 years together. So that is an interest of mine. But in the current schedule of things, the driving I get to do is to and from doing the school run and to and from my other half's work. That's about
not the
it,
school
really.
from Milo, by the way.
No, I'm not taking myself there. But I guess like the other thing is, because you know what we do with being a content creator, you know,
Rock and roll life of a full-time content creator.
Well, the sort of the thing of your passion
Can't
is
film
what
it
you
until I've
do.
done the school run.
This rush back for the 10 a.m. start of a new event. Trying to fit other sort of hobbies around is what I do is kind of a culmination of everything. I was really interested in photography and what you can do with apertures and shutter speeds and the whatever you can kind of just create with Photoshop before introducing AI into it and going down that path, shall we say. That was always a passion of mine, and it would be nice to jump back into doing some sculpture. That's kind of where my artistic creativity started from, was doing plasticine modeling and stop motion animation. And the closest thing I get to do now is to make a icing unicorn for a birthday cake.
Hey, I tell you what.
It was good. It was convincing, you know.
So Alan, Milo does himself a disservice here. So when we all first met up together, we did Tepid Com Day, and we did it in the village that I lived at the time.
That's a throwback.
And fair play, Milo created a trophy for us for the winner who got the most shiny Tepigs in the winner. And it was one of Milo. Milo made us a Tepig, shiny Tepig out of, it was a modelling plaster, wasn't it? Or
yeah, it was Fimo, I think it is, because it's the clay that you can sculpt and then you bake it and it goes solid.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, I've heard Pokemon Company have asked you to make official licensed products, Milo.
I think they got lost in the crypto.
It'll be in the trophy.
Milo, you clicked on the wrong link.
Yeah,
it'll be in the trophy case at Worlds this year. Confirmed. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You did a cracking job, mate. So I love that. I love that.
But that's something I would like to get back into. It's just that sort of thing is so time consuming. If you put proper effort into it, it takes you hours and hours. And at the end of it, you come up with like this little figurine, which, given the fast paced nature of life and what we do, is not really available with stuff that happens on the weekend. So, and it would be nice to be able to do a bit of a road trip. I know in New York, my better half and I joked with Zoe about organising a road trip through Poland because obviously of her family ancestry and everything like that. And that would be something I'd like to do, is another road trip through Europe. I haven't done one since 2022. Mark mentioned a lot of different countries that we went through with me and my dad in the MX-5. It would be really good to go back and do something like that, but it's just squeezing it into the schedule. You know, there's so much going on. We've already talked about the stuff that's happening travel-wise in 2025, and everything. Every weekend there seems to be some kind of Pokemon Go event going on. More time, please. More time in a day would be nice. Come on, Vasa.
Definitely agree. Road trips, they're a vibe. I do love a road trip, as we've talked about, and we've done a few. Certainly in the last year, we've done quite a few road trips actually for different reasons.
Yeah.
In terms of actual hobbies, I, like Alan, also love to play the guitar, but I find I don't get anywhere near enough time to actually pick it up.
It's finding the time,
and
isn't
actually
it?
play it. So I really do need to actually spend more time playing the guitar, because I've got like 3 guitars in my lounge that are just sitting there gathering dust most of the time. And that is a hobby that, again, like Alan, had since high school when I learned to play the guitar really badly, but just playing the guitar, and it's fun. It's fun. And also, these guys have pointed out a lot, I am old. I do love playing retro computer games. So
Remember that, Ian? I'm with you.
So yeah, occasionally I will like play some old computer games that are older than Whitfield, I might add. So the best games are around
Pokemon
in the 80s
Red
and 90s. Yeah,
Pokemon Red, Ian, yeah?
To be fair, I'm
technically
thinking more
that is.
Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum,
BBC
TRS-T,
Micro, Amiga
games, those sort of
500.
games, BBC
Ah.
Micro, some proper retro games. The problem is, time is limited, and when you're working 50 plus hours a week, creating content at the weekend, I'm lucky to get like half a day of the weekend to actually just do things that are not work or content related. So, and I think we're all in a similar boat when it comes to that. So yeah, that's it. That's me. I really do need more of a life.
I remember finding on YouTube a video of when I was a kid, like that first computer game played on the home computer system, which really opened my eyes up and made me go, oh my God. It was when my dad bought us an Amiga 500, which was a 16-bit, it won't be 32-bit game. 16-bit gaming, I think.
Amiga was 16-bit, yeah.
Yeah, it was 16, wasn't it? And then all we'd had before was, we had the BBC Micro, which was 8-bit gaming. And a dad brings the Amiga 500 and puts Xenon 2 Mega Blast on it. It's got like Dolby surround
Xenon
sound
was good.
intro on it. And I was going, this was amazing. And anyway, at work last week, I had a couple of lads who work in the yard who are a bit younger than me. And I went, guys, you've got to watch this. This is amazing. Yeah, I put it on YouTube, got everyone around it, and it looked quite underwhelming. And I was like going, oh. But they were like, Mark, that's rubbish. Like, no, it's amazing. This was Dolby music. This was fantastic. And they looked at it and went, yeah, but it's so basic. I went, right, rewind 30 years. This is home gaming.
It's the thing
It was
of
the pinnacle at the time.
context.
Yeah. People look at like your PS5 and your Switch and games these days, they're at a point where sometimes it's style over substance. And these games that Mark and I talk about, you could actually play them. They were actually playable. They were fun. They were addictive.
Well, more often than not, that's so accurate. Is that, I mean, I know we're sort of just going off on a tangent here, but mainstream video games often, because they sort of have a really short shelf life. It's like, let's get things going for like the first couple of months of release. And they always go for like, let's go wham, bam, the graphics. But they short out on the actual kind of story element or the actual playability.
Let's look at the last Pokemon game that was released. It wasn't even pretty much finished when they released it.
No, it wasn't.
Funnily enough, that's not uncommon with a game that gets released.
Get your updates and
It's like,
patches.
we've got a deadline.
Yeah.
If we meet it, it's a miracle. So let's patch it, because yeah, Scarlet and Violet had their fair share of bugs and glitches in them. some utterly spectacular.
I was reading on the news they found a new species of funnel web or something called the Big Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good name.
And it's only in your area.
Yes, yes. There's like Australian Wildlife and Reptile Park. I don't know, it's probably a 40-minute drive from our house.
Pretty close then, really.
Yeah, but they actually encourage you to catch these spiders and take them there, and they'll milk them for venom, so that they can make the anti-venom.
Oh, okay, yes.
So it's generally, you're not encouraged to kill them. Mind you, I don't know if anyone's died from them recently, but they have the capacity to kill a child or an elderly person in under an hour.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
So it's, I think, the most dangerous spider in the world, potentially.
That's new.
But
Newly
yeah,
discovered.
like if you get a bite from one, you kind of have to get to a hospital ASAP and get the anti-venom drip on you for probably the better part of a day.
Jeez.
Yeah, and we get them, pretty much in Newcastle, where we are, and Sydney. That's kind of where they
territory.
live.
Perfect area.
Yeah, but I haven't encountered any at our place, but certainly sort of other suburbs, you've heard horror stories of people like doing some landscaping and just uncovering like a warren of them.
Oh my goodness me.
Are they noticeably bigger then?
I wouldn't say they're massive. Like probably the biggest spiders we get are like those huntsmans that resemble a face hugger from Aliens or something.
Yes.
And they sort of sprint across the wall, and they're generally not harmful. I don't even think they can pierce your skin. I think, well, the big boy's big. He's one of the biggest I think they've ever found, and have said it's a different species or whatever. But yeah, you typically get a male and a female one that are, one's slightly smaller than the other, but one's more poisonous.
Yes, that's sort of the spider biology, isn't it, really? The female's usually the more massive one, but my other half is basically an arachnophobe, so terrified of spiders. And you've got basically microscopic things here, like the house spider's no bigger than sort of,
Yeah.
So, and you look at Australia, you see reels online of the wildlife that you guys get, and you think, how did so much dangerous stuff end up on that landmass?
Yeah.
Like, why is it all culminated there?
It's not just on the landmass, it's in the waters around as well.
Yeah. It's like a big sort of, like, right, this is danger zone.
Yeah. And then we've got, you get your great white sharks and...
Portuguese man o' war, is it box jellyfish,
There's, irukandji that, like, if one of those get you, then you're pretty much gone. Blue ring octopus. I think there's...
the blue ring. I don't remember if you guys get the blue sea dragon thing. There's like the little sea slug that's blue. Same stuff as the blue ring octopus, but they're like even more venomous. I've seen people picking them up and like, oh, it's so cute. Look at this. It's like really, really tiny, but it will kill you.
I saw a Reddit thread like moments before disaster, and it's some tourist like holding a blue ring octopus in their hands, going, I found this in the rock pool. And it's like, the only way to survive that is to have someone just have to give you CPR. So I think there was a guy at one of the tourist destinations, Hamilton Island or something, which is near Australia, and he got bitten by one, and his like fiance had to give him CPR for like 3 hours straight until somebody arrived and could like airlift him somewhere.
Oh, that's nuts.
But if she didn't do it, completely shuts down the muscles that control your lungs and everything. So you're just done. So yeah, it's kind of like you get really nice beaches, but like that's the trade deal.
There's a serious compromise. That's the thing. I don't know if it's all more unnerving if you do that, pick up these incredibly dangerous creatures, don't know what they are, and then the only way that you know how dangerous what you've just done is you find a comment on your TikTok video that you could have died. You do know this. Jeez.
Anything for the content, right?
It's all about the content. It's all about the show.
Yeah, living on the edge.
I did find in my travels last year that a lot of people... I'm never going to Australia because of, like, the brown snakes, which are also, I think, one of the deadliest land snakes in the world, or the spiders. And I'm kind of like, well, I've only seen a brown snake... the eastern brown, which is the bad one, probably 3 times in 30-something years. Gosh. One of them was in a farm. It was 6 or 7 feet long. The farmer, I was doing an inspection on a new shed that they'd built, and this farmer's like, there's a 7-foot brown up there. I had a go at it with the shovel, but I missed it. So it's just in there. It's really angry. And I'm like...
Just imagine Steve Irwin, you hear saying, that's really grumpy.
I've tried to hit it. I've really annoyed it. Could you go and sort it out?
And I just sort of said, I'm going to just sort of eyeball the shed from outside. I'm not going in there. And I guess in terms of the funnel web, I think I've only seen them once or twice in 30-something years as well. So I was like, you'd be doing pretty well to come over here on a holiday and encounter any of these things.
Do you know the ones I hate the most, Alan? I remember when I was staying in Adelaide, and they say, don't they, the smaller the spider, the more problematic they can be. It's probably the politest word. And I remember like seeing all these white-tailed spiders on the floor, and they are the ones that historically get caught in the bed sheets, climbing them. And they're the tiniest little things with a little dash of Tipex on their bum, these little white tails. And they can make your arm fall off if they really want to, can't they? It's like the poison.
There can be ones that give you necrosis or something, yeah.
Necrosma, was that, Alan?
I knew somebody would make that joke. I thought it was even Milo,
It's
actually.
only a matter of time.
It's that shiny Pokemon that I gifted to your account in
Necrozma.
Spain.
I'm still scarred about Necrozma at GoFest.
I love it.
And yes, Francesco, we know you got the Shundo from the trade.
He got a few, to be fair. I gave him another one.
You got a Shundo what?
Shundo, Milo. A Shundo.
Necrozma. That's right, I'm in that club as well.
Oh, of course you are. I'm the only one that isn't, aren't I?
No, I am as well, Ian. We're in that club. Do not worry. Alan almost gave me the perfect one. It was a 10-10-11 shiny one. I was
Beautiful.
gutted. Yeah.
That is perfection.
Alan, do you want to jump in, Alan, and just come up with just lead a conversation or something? You know, even though you've probably done that with poisonous spiders and insects and that.
Yeah, I don't know. What can we talk about?
Anything is game, I guess.
something about like Pokemon Go. Because I've got so many insights.
No, you know what? I think we've gone the best part of an hour and we haven't really mentioned it that much. So that's a good call, Alan. Yeah.
What's it like being better at the game than your other half?
How do you say so humble yet so awesome? No, I was actually going to comment that I don't know what it's like over there, but certainly in Australia, at some of the community days that I've been going to lately, I've seen a real increase, and the raid days as well, real increase in actual turnout and people actually, getting together. In the past, we might have seen, just for context, anywhere from, 5 to 10 people on a community day, and now we're seeing 20, 30, 40 in a group, like everyone communicating and working together on the new GMAX and DMAX raid things, and people in the community like giving chocolates out to people that got the shiny, and I've just seen, and they're not necessarily like official community ambassadors, I don't believe, all the time. It's just people trying to make the game more fun and get people more involved in it. And I think
how many chocolates did you get, Alan?
Zero. I'm out of form. I haven't got a shiny from a raid day type thing for a long time now. So everyone's like, every time I show up to a community day, they're like, "Today's the day. He's coming back." But it hasn't happened yet.
Well, that's true, because I mean, going back to Madrid, we was calling you the shiny guru, wasn't we?
I actually had some, like a local, come up to me with a very, Spanish accent. Never seen him before, but the buzz was out there, on the platform that will not be named because it's been put in the room by Mark. But but this guy just walks up to me and says, "Lord Alan, can you please bless my phone?"
Yes, you were blessing phones. You were, yes.
Because I was doing like the Pope blessing, and then I was like, hopefully, no one's offended because it's a religious, that's a thing. And then I started spitballing like merch ideas, and I'm like, you could get a shirt with me with a Pope hat, like going like that. And Zoe was just like, too far. Too far. She's like, maybe a wizard outfit or something like that. But let's not bring the religion into it.
Pope surprised the first.
I think there's a niche market there, Alan. Don't be so dismissive of it. We'd all buy one.
I'd definitely buy one.
There you got 3 sales there.
Limited release. Think the merch company's like, you need to pay for 500 units.
4, Francesco would buy it as well. There we go. We've got
pre-sales.
I'm sure we'll get Sue to buy one. That'll be 5. Yes.
You see, it was a good idea.
Yeah, Sue buy one as well. There you go, 5 sales. Just need to scale it up a little.
Yeah.
What's it like over there for you guys?
It's a great question. Like, I mean, we have polar opposite experiences, Alan. I think a lot of it comes down to the communities prior to these sort of changes and events and the mechanics changing. I mean, I recently moved a couple of years ago, and I've been very, very sort of, semi-rural, sort of very, very rural when the boys met me in the village when I used to live out there. But
It's a proper village.
live in a town now where there's good people. I've met a couple of people through the game over here, but do you know what? For me, it's the timings of these events. I think, these events in the winter are very difficult. I think when it gets to the summer and we get these, I think on a Monday evening between 6 and 7 in the summer, I think you might have a different proposition there. Where actually there might be more motivation as it's still light and warmer. Because watching your videos, I imagine yesterday, Alan, were you taking down Dynamax Moltres? Were you doing that?
Zapdos.
I was.
Zapdos, sorry, Zapdos, not Moltres, Zapdos. You're behind, not ahead, aren't you? So ahead, not behind.
They are in the future.
No,
Yeah,
I
a
was.
little weak in the future.
No. We were at a birthday dinner. I was taking down a schooner of stout.
Oh, that's a very
nice.
different Dynamax boss.
Stout, Alan. You're a stout drink as well. Very
Stoutland.
good.
Occasionally, I like a dark beer.
Same.
Usually in winter. Usually it doesn't sit well in summer. But if I see one and I'm like, yeah, just feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, we know in the summer it's going to be Foster's, surely.
So I don't know if you ever tuned in on when I used to do the music streams on Twitch, but it was the highest thing you could redeem with your points, but it was like Foster's is like the worst beer ever, and I went and bought some, like it had to be imported or something because I don't even know if we make it here anymore. But it was like, if you redeem this thing, I'll go crack a Foster's.
Oh, nice. That's
And I
playing
think
your
someone
audience.
only made me do it once on my birthday. It was like 10 a.m. or something, and I'm like,
Sure.
for the stream, let's do it.
Yeah.
Zoe's just like, Anyway,
Bad idea.
I digress.
You got to be struggling to get a Foster's, you really do.
I love the whole measurement system out there. You have your halves, your pints, and your schooners, depending on which part of Australia you're in. It's that little measure, so it doesn't get too warm before you finish, isn't it, Alan? It's that nice little bit in the middle, isn't it? The schooner. It's like, best way to describe it, it's like a 2/3 pint, isn't it? It's that sort of thing, isn't
okay.
it? It's just in between, isn't it?
Schoon-
A half and a pint, isn't it?
Schooners, I think, 425 mils or something.
Brilliant.
And then a
That's
pint's
about
500.
2/3. Yeah.
So,
I love them out there. Absolutely brilliant. Or stubby holders. Oh, Milo. One day, Milo. One day.
No,
Well,
Milo's
yeah,
probably thinking like
hopefully.
I am thinking, I wonder if they get Hawkstone in Australia.
If you went all the way to Australia,
Or just message Jezza.
you don't want to be drinking Hawks, you'll be drinking little creatures, you want to be drinking Cores. Not Cores, Cooper's Red. Oh, I loved Cooper's Red out there. Obviously, Cooper's good. But everyone drinks VB, don't they, Alan? Is it VB at your neck of the woods, or is it Carlton? I can never remember which one it is. Is it Carlton or VB?
VB, it's like a bit of a...
That's horrible.
It's like a
VB.
joke. It's like
Even
the
more than
strongest.
Foster's.
It's the strongest beer that they do. I mean, it's just a plain beer. It's not a craft beer or whatever. But I think VB entered their beer into like a craft beer competition as a joke, and it won.
Oh,
It won.
no!
Because everyone was like, "Wow, it's just like a classic lager," and then they're like, "Oh, we don't want the prize. Like, we just did it as a joke."
Give it to Castlemaine 4X.
But it's like they've
shows
gone
up the
full
judges.
circle. They got, we've made these like sour things, and then it's like, I just want to have normal stuff again. But yeah, can't remember where we were going with that.
I think we've gone down the route of beers.
I like
Fantastic.
Yeah.
it. Good.
Oh, I absolutely stitched up a friend. He was trying to pick what beer to get. I told him, get Cooper's Red because it doesn't have, like, their whole marketing thing was it doesn't have preservatives in it. So I was like, you won't get a hangover. But
Alan.
but
Alan.
every bottle it's like 1.9 standard drinks, and he did like
Alan.
he did a half a case, and then the next day he woke up. He's like, every time I move, my head's pounding. What have you done to me? And I'm like,
That's cruel. That is so
it's like,
funny.
I gotta go to work. See ya.
So just don't trust me ever again.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
Is the news.
Oh, it sure is a news, Rev. We have got an event coming up. We've got the small yet strong event, which has been announced in Pokemon Go.
It's like Ian.
Is he a Burmy? No, he's not a Burmy, is he?
Small yet strong.
Small yet strong. Well, Well. The Small Yet Strong event runs from Wednesday, February the 5th at 10 a.m. local time, running until Saturday, February the 8th, when it concludes at 8 p.m. Once again, local time. It'd be a bit weird if it was a different time it concluded on, but yes, there they are, the hours. And we have event bonuses for this new event. They are 2 times XP for catching Pokemon, and an increased chance to encounter XXSs and XXL Pokemon in the wild. Maybe the showcases are going to get their flip around for this event.
I wonder if they'll be at different stops.
The same stops that are different, yeah.
I think we can answer that question for you, Whitfield.
We'll find out later in the article.
No.
Anyway, the wild encounters, obviously, thankfully, there are some for this event, but for the first time in Pokemon Go, actually technically
It's not the first time. It's
released
not the
a
first
while
time.
ago for a brief period of time, but Shiny Nimble is officially being released with this event, and it's a beautiful gold shiny. However, Flabébé with differently coloured flowers will also be appearing in the wild depending on where you are. So obviously in the Europe, Middle East and Africa and India, I don't know why they've left that off of this region, it's the red flower, Flabébé.
Yes, if you are in the APAC region, just like Alan, then you'll be getting the blue flower Flabébé.
Yeah.
And if you live in the Americas, that is unlike any of us, you will get the yellow flower Flabébé.
And the remaining wild spawns are the dust-boosted Paras,
Natu,
Plant Cloak Burmy,
Sandy Cloak Burmy,
Trash Cloak Burmy.
Joltik,
I feel sorry for taking this away from Marky, Tynamo,
Yeah, Mark's favourite. The red flower Flabébé.
the blue flower Flabébé,
and the yellow flower Flabébé.
And, of course, Nimble.
and yes, some traders might even encounter the following white and orange flower Flabébés.
Yep, that's
Yay.
it. And, of course, if you're lucky, actually all of those could be shiny. Now, moving on to the raids, there are some raids specific to this event, and we've got raids in the form of Tier 5 raids, which will be Dialga until the 6th of February at 10 a.m. And then that will be replaced by Enamorus, the incarnate form, beginning at 10 a.m. on the 6th of February. Obviously, it follows on. And in your Mega Raids, Mega Medicham will be in Mega Raids until the 6th of February at 10 a.m. when it will be replaced by Mega Tyranitar, a better Pokemon in my opinion.
Ooh, I like that.
Everyone's opinion.
In everyone's opinion, yeah.
Everyone's opinion is that Tyranitar's better than Medicham. Absolutely. We've also got eggs as part of this new event. These following Pokemon will hatch from 2-kilometre eggs. We've got Togepi, Azurill, Badoo, Ian, you love Badoo, Chingling, Esper, and Dedenne. And if you're lucky, you may hatch a shiny one.
Shame Denny doesn't have a costume.
I
Anyway,
know.
the remaining bits of this event are the fact that field research tasks will drop from Pokestops and they will actually earn you encounters with Burmese and Nimbol. They've actually put some bloody Pokemon on the article.
Yes.
Oh my god. Thank you, Niantic. But yeah, Nimbol will be in field research, which is fantastic. There's going to be timed research, and it doesn't say if this is paid or free, so we're going to assume it's free.
Well, normally they'd
haven't
have
said
a
there's
big
ticket.
price tag on there, so I would think it
Yeah,
would be
there's
free.
the good news. By the time this article ends, there's no paid ticket involved, which is great, but there will be collection challenges. Pokestops will have showcases at different ones, apparently. That's a lie. And of course, it's going to be web store bundles, so that's kind of the ins and outs to finish the little article.
Looks good. You
Looks
shiny.
like a tasty event.
Shiny's come back officially this time. Looks like it's available in research tasks, which is something that's nice, isn't it? Not locked behind 2K eggs. So that's good.
Yes. Can you get yourself a tiny, shiny Nimble? That'd be nice.
Just a shiny one would be good for me, Milo.
I forget what happened to the ones that people got. They probably had them deleted from their account, like the black and white Kyurem.
I didn't hear that they were deleted.
I can't remember.
Nah, I think they're allowed to keep
I
them.
think it was only the
so
Kyurems that were.
So those people were looking at this event going, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, got mine already. And my
Yeah.
2023 timestamp on it.
Oh, Francesco says they all turned into normal ones.
Oh.
Oh, that's
That's
rough.
Well, let's hope they
hope
turn
they
back
turn
to
back.
shiny
Oh, my.
ones.
Imagine that. It's just shiny just turns into a regular Pokemon.
You just
That's
flex it.
brutal.
Look what I got, and then it's just turned into a normal one.
That's brutal, isn't it?
I'd rather just suck it out of the account, honestly.
You'd just transfer it, wouldn't you, if that happened?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but actually you'd have to, because otherwise you'd sit there and go, you were once a shiny.
They didn't do that for Abra. That's a fair point. The last one. Back then, do you remember when Abra showed and lost it, and now it's like it's an Abra. It's an Abra.
Yeah.
So what do we think, boys? Out of 10, this event, early days?
Ooh.
I'll probably give it a good solid 8, actually. I like a new chase, new shiny, in the wild, in research tasks.
Yes.
For me, that it gives us something to go for, doesn't it?
Not locked in raids or regs. That's lovely. I'll join you in giving it an 8. New shiny. I don't mind a boost of XXL and XXS Pokemon. It's a bit of spice. Burmese and Flabébés are plenty. They're both, shinies that people need multiples of for the families. And you can't argue with a bit of 2 times catch XP, those who need it. Solid, really. And the eggs are okay, actually, for once.
I thought we'd go back through the article again then. We might have listed everything. But
that's what we usually do.
Are you going to make it a CFAX?
I am going to make it the old CFAX 888 because I agree. It looks good. And as somebody that doesn't have any shiny Flabébés, then that will be a chase for me. So there'll be that and Nimble to chase. So yeah, happy with this. A comfortable 8, yes. So we go from what looks like it's going to be a solid event to... Now, Barrow's been lobbying for Niantic to do something different with Community Days for, I think, the last count was about 18 months, nearly 2 years. Yeah. And we've got our first twofer of a Community Day. And this will be February's Community Day, which is on Sunday, February the 9th. Standard hours between 2 and 5 p.m. But the Pokemon that will be in the spotlight are Karrablast and Shelmet.
Now that is an interesting pick.
It definitely is. And actually, I think it's okay, actually. I think it's going to be quite a nice shake-up of the format.
We certainly did pitch the idea of having multiple types of Pokemon featured in events. I understand the sort of connection with these two. They've been featured in quite a few events, obviously have been parts of spawns of events. And both of them, dare I say it, a really decent shiny family. I like both of them, actually. Karrablast with that sort of, what's it called? Like that sort of yellow fluorescent sort of
Karrablast is like turquoise, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You've got little golden, the golden one as well, which is...
Shelmet turns sort of yellow on its face. And even the evolutions are good shinies. But I look back and I was like, I actually don't have the Shelmet family completed. They were released for GoFest Global 2022.
Yeah.
All those years ago. And then we got lucky with Karrablast being in Barcelona City Safari. So that's why you might have more Karrablast. But Marky smashed the Shelmet.
Yeah, I'm just looking at mine and I don't need any. I've got 3 of the Karrablast and I've got 4 of the Shelmet. So
I only got 1 Shelmet and I think I got 6 Karrablast. But that's from over many years of playing the game. I know there are going to be loads of people who don't have these shinies, and
absolutely,
I'm definitely down for a twofer. A twofer of 2 different Pokemon, not 2 different forms.
Yes, twofer of Pokemon.
Change.
Yeah,
definitely. Anyway, of course, a Community Day has some featured attacks in there. When you evolve Karrablast up to Excavalier, you'll be learning Razor Shell on it, which will do some damage of a certain quantity. And if you evolve Shelmet up to Acceleror, it will learn Energy Ball, which will also do some damage in some numerical quantity.
But more damage than Excavalier will do.
Indeed.
It's got a higher numerical damage figure attached to it, which we don't talk about that on our show. And, no. But the good thing is with Community Days, you also get special researches for $2 US or the equivalent pricing tier in your local currency. You'll be able to access the Karrablast and Shelmet Community Day exclusive special research, which might be called that actually when it drops in the game. But if you complete this research, you will be able to get more rewards, including 2 encounters each with Karrablast and Shelmet, with dual Destiny-themed special backgrounds, additional encounters with Karrablast and Shelmet, and a premium battle pass, and a rare Candy XL. It's not too bad, actually. Stay tuned when tickets to the special research go live, and also you can gift them if you want to, if you're great friends and above. And it tells you how to do that. Come on, I think you already know how to do that. And they are non-refundable. And there will be certain restrictions applying, but let's move on from that because there's also a timed research, boys.
Yes, there is. The Community Day special background timed research. So trainers that log in during February's Community Day will receive a timed research awarding 1 encounter with each Karrablast and Shelmet. That will have the dual Destiny special background. You'll even have an increased chance to encounter shiny Karrablast and Shelmet when you complete these timed research tasks. Don't forget, it is timed research.
Don't let it run out. Don't let time expire.
Timed is the optimum word there. Now, of course, every Community Day has event bonuses, and this one is a triple catch XP one, which is sort of following suit because it's on the back of the small, mighty event that we just talked about. So, triple catch XP, 2 times candy for catching Pokemon, 2 times chance for the XL candy for people and trainers over level 31. Of course, lures and incense will last for 3 hours when placed down during the 2 to 5 window. And of course, there will be 5 snapshots for a Community Day surprise, although which one would you get a surprise from? That'd be interesting to find out, randomized. There'll be an additional special trade, making it 2 for the day. And finally, trades will require 50% less Stardust.
One thing that you can guarantee, there's also going to be field research, but the other thing you can guarantee is it'll be 5 photos, which will give you encounters. I'm not falling for that one, Niantic. I'm trying to mix it up. But no, the field research will be available. If you catch Karrablast and Shelmet, you will earn rewards such as Stardust, Great Balls, additional encounters with both featured Pokemon, and more. Go out there, explore with your community. And you may even find field research that yields more encounters with Karrablast and Shelmet that have the dual Destiny-themed special backgrounds. And that's if you're lucky.
Yep, and to wrap this up, Pokemon showcases will be a thing. Well, we know they are all the time now.
Different Pokestops.
Pokemon Go web store will have the Ultra Community Day box, which will be $4.99, and that will grant you access to 10 Ultra Balls, 1 Elite Charge TM, and 1 special research ticket. And there will also be some event bundles as well, which will be in the in-game store, which for 1,350 Pokecoins, you'll get 50 Ultra Balls, 5 Super Incubators, 1 Elite Charge TM, and 5 Lucky Eggs. Or for 480 Pokecoins, you'll get 30 Ultra Balls, 1 Incense, our item, 3 Super Incubators, and 1 Lure Module. We don't talk about those.
Nuh-uh. Not at all.
Nada.
Boys, of course, the stickers. What do we think? I think they look quite
They
tasty.
look great. They do look good.
They are.
Yeah.
They look very jolly.
I do
Karrablast
like
and Shelmet.
the Karrablast laughing, yes.
Yeah.
I like the fact they've got the best buddy
yes.
ribbons on them as well.
Oh, yeah, they have,
Yes. That's ambitious.
At least you know where they go on them now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the placement for them. The thing I would note about this Community Day, and people may not know, is that Shelmet and Karrablast are trade evolved Pokemon. In the main series games, you had to trade them to be able to evolve them. In Pokemon Go, when you trade them, it takes away the candy cost to evolve it. So it goes from being 200 candy to 0. So that might be where it's worthwhile trading them afterwards. But both of these things are usable in the Baguette League, not raids.
Actually, speaking of the Baguette League, and we
Have
did
you
say
got
we
the
were going to
baguettes
lobby
there?
for this, GoFest this year is going to be in Paris, France, and we do expect to see you all there with your baguettes.
Bring
And
you your
stripy
baguettes.
tops and berets.
Oui, oui.
And
Have you
garlic. Oh my god, we can get very stereotypical here, aren't we?
The French love it.
There's a line. I think it's a line. But yes, if you fancy challenging one of the Incensed podcasts to a baguette fight, go for it.
Go for it.
It's kind of like a
Go for it.
lightsaber fight, but you're using baguettes.
Yeah, there's no Pokemon Go involved.
The French will be crying at the waste of bread. Je suis une
sweet
baguette.
I love that. I am bread. I am baguette.
That has to be the title of the Paris show, the
Does.
live show.
Yeah,
We
you
have to
need
do it.
une baguette. It's just une baguette.
Je suis une baguette. I am, yes,
I
just
am
the
a
one
baguette.
baguette.
Yeah.
I just say, I am baguette.
I am baguette.
the baguette. The one and
Well,
all.
what we'll do, Alan, it's only polite. I think we're going to play a quick game with you. We're going to play a real sort of fan favourite one, because you love your Pokemon, Al. You've obviously just said you love it. And even though you'd rather drink beer than play Pokemon Go, to be fair, probably in the summertime, I might be on the same page with you as well on that one.
Why not? Why not both?
Why not both? Exactly.
You said you wanted balance, Mark. Like,
It's a good balance. It is a very good balance. So we're going to play a little favourite one. We're going to play. Let's go for, what do you reckon? Chasing the Tail.
Chasing the tail.
Yeah.
Chasing the tail.
So chasing the tail.
Chasing the tail.
Tail to chase. It's chasing the tail.
You see, we sing as well, Alan.
We do it.
I don't know if that's singing.
It's something.
it's chanting.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, we chant. We do. We're
do.
chanters. So we're going to play the game Chasing the Tail. It is a fan favourite in the game. It's a words association game with the names of Pokemon. For example, I'm going to give a name of a Pokemon, which would be Mewtwo, and I'd expect the next person to name a Pokemon starting with the letter O. like
Oh God.
there we go. Oh God.
Like, oh my god, I don't know anything.
I don't know Pokemon names, dude. But
Brilliant.
I'll do my best. What happens if you can't?
That's
Continue.
a great question, Alan. That is a great question. Well, I'm going to tell you what happens. If you can't get, that's what happens.
You got any Fosters? No, I'm kidding.
That's an instant. Oh, Milo. But anyway, it is one life and you're out of it. But yeah, if you can't get it right, you are out. We're going to do it in the order of myself starting, Ian second, Milo third, and Alan fourth. And then we just keep going round and round and round. But there are a couple of rules. Obviously, the first one is if you pause for too long or can't get an answer, you are out. Or if you repeat a Pokemon, which has been mentioned before, you're also out. And that goes for any point of the game. So if we're into like the third round, fourth round, you can't use ones from the previous round. So once it's said, it is gone. Don't worry, Alan, I'm awful at this as well. I probably won't last long either. The only reward for going out in the round is you get to start off the next round, and it goes on in the same order until we have one person left standing at the end. I'm going to start off. And my Pokemon to you, Ian, is Mewtwo.
Omanite.
Eevee.
I'm
Come on,
out.
Alan. No, you're not. Come on, Alan. You've got this.
Say one.
Espeon.
Good one.
Nice.
Noibat.
Tangela.
Abra.
Oh my God.
That's not
Articuno.
Yes.
Omastar.
Riolu.
Oh, what's this? Uxie.
Oh, yeah, again.
Ooh.
Maybe he's thought of a few. I don't know.
No,
Empoleon.
I don't even know if that's a real thing.
It is.
What he said.
Trust Marky. Yes, okay. Over to you, Mark.
Nincada.
Arcanine.
Stop giving me ease. Excadrill.
Lapras.
Yes.
Swaddle.
Damn it! We said Empoleon. Damn
Ian's
you.
out.
Too many E's. I don't mean that in the way it sounded.
Excellent.
Excellent. Well, Ian's the first one out. Ian, you start the second round.
All right then, Whitfield. Your Pokemon is Sinistea.
I need Zoe to patch in so she can feed me answers.
Tag her in, yeah.
Axew.
Woobat.
Tynamo.
Octillery. Oh, that's really hard. Sorry.
You asked. I like.
What does that end in? I? Or Y?
Octillery.
Why? Isn't it?
Why?
Is it a Y?
Is it Yamask?
Yamask.
Yamask. Blame it on the
Kingler.
accent.
Kingler. We always go like your mask. Kingler.
Kingler. Reshiram.
Moltres?
Sizer.
Another R. Rhyhorn.
Nidoran? Has that been said yet?
I don't think we had
No,
anyone
you're
yet.
clear.
Okay.
Ninetales.
Scizor. Have we had
I've
Scizor?
said Sizer,
You
yeah.
said Scizor. Oh, it's a different pronunciation. No. I was like, we've had Sylveon. We've had this. We've had Swaddle. No.
Oh, Ian, what have we got?
She just walked in the background, by the way. The Mexican standoff. It is literally Australia versus England. Let's
This is
go.
like the cricket.
This is the ashes of the
Scotland
podcast.
boys, get it right.
No, she'll play for England, I guess. So
I feel
Oh, yeah,
like
actually,
England's
Mark
going
is
to win
Scottish,
this
not
one.
English. Yeah, that's a good point.
okay, right.
Oh, Milo, do you-
For the Highlands.
Whereabouts in Scotland were you from?
Glasgow, Alan.
Oh,
Glasgow.
we've discussed this, haven't we?
We have.
Because my mum's born in Glasgow. So
Yes.
she came over to Australia when she was 8.
She was born in the same hospital as me as well, Alan.
Is there only one hospital in Glasgow?
There isn't.
Probably.
No, there is, but it isn't actually there anymore now. So
Oh, okay.
Queen Elizabeth,
Ah.
Queen Mother's or Queen Elizabeth Hospital it was. So yeah.
Is it a Pokestop?
Well, Right, we're holding Alan on.
Yeah,
We
here.
are holding Alan up.
Alan needs
let's
to
get
win
this
this
final round
competition.
going.
I'm just
Yes.
avoiding.
So-
I'm avoiding playing.
Okay,
but yeah.
No,
so-
don't worry, Alan.
Alan, your Pokemon is Togepi.
Sandshrew. Oh, what? Sorry.
Togepi.
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 Is it an eye? Yeah.
It is an eye.
Ivysaur.
Ivysaur.
Oh, another R. I got one, boys. Alan's won! Hey!
I don't know. Thank you.
Routes, but it doesn't matter now.
Oh, no, just out of time, Marky.
Oh, no. It always happens, doesn't it? You think of it just as the buzzer goes.
That was very, very kind.
That was like a plucky underdog story right there on the podcast.
That's what you mean. You came up with all those names yourself.
Well done, Alan.
Thank you,
Will
Marky.
good in the
Congratulations.
Well, there we go. We had to get a game with Alan. It's been brilliant
Yeah.
having you on board with us tonight, Alan. We are
Nice.
going to get to the back end of the show now, and I am going to reveal the results of our first ever Instagram poll.
How many responses did we get?
It's a slow burner. We will get there. But we have had 22 people on the Insta poll tonight.
It's a start.
It's a start. And like we said before, we picked room 101. We all came up with some answers. The answers were LA wildfires, bad UK drivers, bad Australian drivers, and X. So, and X. The results are as follows. In fourth place, with 0% of the vote,
0.
bad Australian drivers.
Ooh.
Can't
Come on,
win them
Aussies,
all,
where
Alan.
were you on Instagram?
You can't win everything, Alan. In third place, with 13% of the vote, X, which means in second place with 32% of the vote, we have got bad UK drivers. And yes, only 55% of the poll want the LA wildfires put in room 101.
That seems
Shame.
predictable.
Shame. But no, great to do it. Hey, listen, we'll be back on X next week. We haven't quite put it into room 101 or even 102. It was third on the poll. But thank you, everyone, for taking part in tonight's poll. We're now going to go to a staple part of the show. It's our favourite part. And Alan is the one who's going to read them out for you all, our amazing listeners. We have got the shinies of the week.
Shinies of the week.
So we've got Kiwi Steve with a shiny Zapdos.
Is that the Dynamax, the Shinamax one?
It is.
Oh, nice.
Got
Done
a
well.
red cloudy crown around the top of it. And then
Maybe a headache.
Sue, who had to leave for a meeting, and I didn't say goodbye. But Sue, what's she got? Shiny Galarian Bird. So she's got a Moltres on incense as well.
Oh,
That's where the magic happens, Alan. You know that.
Yeah.
that is the magic.
And then we've got, is it Nakim Brown? Yeah, 29 shinies from Rolt's Community Day.
Solid haul.
A couple of decent 3 stars. So yes, when we've got one from Woggy1232 with a Moltres.
Yep, shiny
0 star.
Galarian Moltres. That was from the incense
A
campfire,
Galarian
actually.
Moltres.
Yeah,
Very nice.
What a catch.
good shinies there.
What
GG's,
a
guys.
catch.
Everyone, like we said at the beginning of the show, we love it when you get involved in Shinies of the Week. Please continue to use the world-famous hashtag Shinies of the Week. And if you want to be featured on the show, it makes it easy for us to find your posts across our variety of social media platforms that we use. Blue Sky X still, unfortunately. I'm only messing. I love X. But bluesky.org.sky or whatever it's called, Ian, isn't it? We also use our WhatsApp messages if people want to send a message in as well. We use threads as well. And we also like the good old-fashioned, not pen and paper. That'll take a bit too long for us to get it. But we do like using our email. Is that contact at Incensed, is it, Ian? Is that the one?
Contact at incensepodcast.com.
And also, if you want to contact the show directly through your podcast platforms, you can also send one in that way. I think Spotify and Apple Music certainly give you the opportunity.
Yeah, I think there are a few others, but I
To
couldn't
do that.
name off the top of my head.
No, definitely not. But yes, that's it. We're there. The show is done, Milo.
Before we wrap up, we would just like to say, Alan, thank you so much for giving us some of your morning time for this podcast. Honestly, it's been an absolute joy to have you on the show and our first guest of 2025.
Oh.
I know the two boys got to meet you in Madrid, but I didn't get to meet
The
you
funny
there
thing
either.
is,
So annoying.
I'll meet Alan in New York, and then you
Yeah.
couldn't get there.
I wasn't there.
Alan turns up anywhere you want him to be. Oh, I'll meet him in wherever.
Yeah, no, been absolute pleasure. I would definitely come back if I didn't put anyone to sleep. And had a great time on the show.
We would love to have you back.
First guest of the year.
If you join us.
Great.
If you
First
join
guest
us,
of the
we'll
year,
have you
and
back.
yes, if we do bump into you live, we'll get you on the live show. If not, we'll more than likely, it's a definite, we'll get you back in at some point because you've been a great guest, and A to Z isn't running anymore, so you need to get on with us occasionally.
A lot of people want A to Z to come back, but we got a bit going on this year, so we'll see.
No, thank you, Alan, for joining us. It has been a blast. Thank you so much, bud.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
and we'll get you back on. If not this year, it'll be next year.
Sure.
The show is very much in the bag, and it's been an absolute cracker with Alan on board. A very different style of show. But, of course, if you did enjoy, make sure that you hit the follow, plus, or subscribe button to never miss an episode that always releases on a Sunday. We never miss a week.
Never.
On this podcast. There's always something for you to download and listen to. Of course, you can get involved with our socials. We post bits and pieces, community stuff, and get you guys involved with the discussions about recent events, things that are happening in the game, stuff that we're doing, and post-production, and of course, when the episode actually lands. You can find us on X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, and we'll post our stuff at Incensed Podcast, of course. A 5-star review never hurt anyone. It would be fantastic if you would do so if you enjoyed this show, but we would never be able to continue producing this podcast to the standards that we do were it not for the wonderful Patreon squad members. So thank you, everybody who's supporting us through that platform, be it on the bronze, the silver, or the gold tiers. Gold tier. Those extra contributions really do help keep the lights on in terms of the podcast and physically in some cases as well, as we've joked about plenty of times. But we would like to give a shout out to our silver tier members on this show, who are KLXVI, Del Hazard, Spindiana, Laurie Beck, Stephen Norway, CC is Mad, McFloof, Saul Halberfield, I think it is. Haberfield. Saul, thank you. Lizzie George, Sander van den, that is a very weird name. I think it's Edinburgh 666 in game, actually. I'm just going to go with that. Neonet, Ellen Rushton, Original AJK16, Northern Soph, Tom Cattle, Charlie Todd, Robert Wilson, and finally, Miss Summer of 69. Those are the wonderful silver tier patrons and the fantastic gold tier patrons who get to enjoy the live recording and the chaos, and particularly see this episode as it was recorded out of order. So those gold members are JB, Clifford Mert, Kerry and Zachary, Barside 2, Mandy Croft, Mr. Mossam, Dean DHL, and Mufti. Thank you very much to every single one of you who take the support to the next level. It really does make a world of difference.
Thank you.
And finally, a thanks to our dual admin team, who are the Pyrrhus, the Iron Pyrrhus, the Francesco, the Italian. Thank you very much for everything you do, dude. And of course, Sue Hermes, the Ninja. Thank you guys for all you do for us, the team, the podcast, and everything behind the scenes. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
But that is about time we sort of wrap up everything and
say
thank you.
Hold the phone. We got some good news, guys.
What?
Spotlight Hour this Tuesday, the 4th of February, is Carvana. With 2 times Evolution XP.
That's like a fish that should live in Australia.
Yeah.
It's attacking.
Yeah, we just need... just give us more. It's fine.
But hey, we've got more good news.
What?
Well, we've got Monday Max battles. Dynamax Moltres is going to be here on Monday, 3rd of February.
Well, that's not all, Marky. That is not all, Marky. We have more good news.
What?
Well, it might not be the origin form, but we have got Dialga Raid Hour on Wednesday, the 5th of February.
I can do that one.
Way! Well, on that joyous bombshell, it's time to close out episode 208. We are waving goodbye to the Persia references, and we'll see you all, hopefully, for 209.